The young boy that escorted them couldn't be much older than herself, Katania thought. They were led through a cluster of tents and campfires. There must be hundreds of bandits here. She never saw so many in one place before. What brought them here? What brought them together? Amongst them she could see people from all walks of life, not all of them choosing this life by choice. The tents shift to makeshift shacks and wooden shelters. She could see fletchers, tanners, and smiths do their works amongst them all. The boy stops in front of a building made out of solid stone. The end of the line. Iron Stories, Episode 38, Parlay. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Iron Stories. Yeah, we're in the middle of the bandit camp, or the bandit hideout, and we're in front of some evil dude that just proclaimed to us that we have to fess up or die. So let's see what we can do here. If we can convince him that we are bandits, or at least look like ones. So I decided to do here what is called a scene challenge. So what this is basically a progress track, but it has a countdown on it. So you do specific moves, and it's like any other progress track that you have. So you mark progress on it, and then you can conclude it by doing a progress move. But every time you do a miss, I think when it's miss, it's also a weak hit. It depends a bit on what move you do. You mark also one of the countdown, and you only have 4 countdowns, and you mark completely one, completely disregarding what the challenge of the challenge, or what difficulty this challenge is anyway. So it's like a clock. So you only have a certain amount of moves you can do in total before you have to conclude the progress in itself. So it's more or less a timed challenge, or a timed progress. I think we did one before with Katania when she was in the spirit realm, fighting off the evil influence of Kaivan. So now it's been a bit more formal. What we can do is either face danger or secure an advantage. It's these 2 moves we can do in order to progress on the challenge. So that's basically it, more or less, for it. So let's see if we can talk to the bandit leader and convince him to some sort, say, hey, we're either new recruits or you never seen us before. So maybe let's see. So he proclaimed that we should tell him why we are here, and we should be truthful to it to some extent, and if not, then we will die by his sword. And he's also like a very imposing figure, nonetheless. So let's see. I guess So either between face danger and security advantage, there is similar things I can do here. So I can do it with speed, agility, or precision, which probably doesn't match here. With charm, loyalty, or courage, which might come into some sort of thing here. Aggressive action, force for defense, strength, or endurance. Deception, stealth, or trickery, or expertise, insight, or observation. And I think speed, agility, and precision I can just completely throw out of the window because it doesn't make any sense here to argue with anything like that. And I think Jebran, is just by the sheer display of violence or display of power that this guy displayed is probably just taking just a step back. He's aghast by this display of power. So I think his first thing would be to go into some sort of defensive stance. And so the question is if he's facing danger or securing an advantage here. I guess he is probably taking more of a security advantage here first. So he's probably trying to gauge a bit the situation, and on one hand, but also like taking back a bit. So I think his first reaction is a bit on the line. Is this how you treat everybody that works for you? And he's pointing to his insignia that he wears around his belt, which shows the red cloth with the black sign on it, and yeah, he's just taking aback, maybe even getting a bit closer to his axe. He doesn't know what exactly it is. He's just taking a defensive stance. He's also like readying himself a bit into the ground. Should it come to any interaction, where he might also need to quickly make his way out, and he's also like standing in front of Katania to secure her a bit. So I go here with securing an advantage, with a I don't know if it's really a forceful defense, but I would say it is a defense in some sort. So I just roll plus iron. Okay, that doesn't fare well. I have to say as well that the scene challenge itself is dangerous. So we mark 2 progress every time. But so just from my roll, even though I have a really high really high iron, I failed here. So I rolled a 5 against an 8 and a 9. But, so this would generally be a miss. But what I could do is I could burn the momentum to get a weak hit instead. So on a weak hit, I would just gain. I don't have really an advantage I only take +1 momentum. So basically, if I would burn it, I would reset to 2 and then gain the momentum. So I would get to +3. I have +9 momentum right now. I could also fail and just mark a countdown box and pay the price. Which I don't think. I mean, it's a bad start nonetheless, and I think he isn't really. I guess either way, the leader isn't probably probably not he's not how do you say he's not convinced in any case on his proclamation. Probably because the leader is a leader, he can do whatever he pleases. So I don't think this makes any sense. But I guess for the moment here, since Jebran has such a high momentum, he like his adrenaline is pumping in his veins from before. He's making this proclamation. I think I burn the momentum here and to just translate it to a weak hit. So it doesn't gain us any advantage at any point because the leader isn't convinced out of our proclamation, so he doesn't see fit to like maybe relax his stance as well and sheath the weapon again. He's still in the same things. It's like, okay, whatever you say here, I'm still waiting for answers. You didn't give me answers nonetheless, so fuck off. My ultimatum still stands, so yeah. I don't think the leader here is convinced out of that. So I burn momentum with Jebran. So I'll go down to +2, turn the thing into a weak hit, which still gives me +1 momentum. So I go back up to +3. Whew. Okay, so that was that. So that was a bad start here. Maybe the leader just lifts an eyebrow and just thinks to himself, I can see that. Doesn't change my question at all. It would even just like, I mean, he can also see that Jebran is taking this defensive stance and is moving to his weapon, which again, isn't helping the case in any matter, in any way. So it wasn't the best move for Jebran to start with that. And I think Katania from behind, being a bit more the empathetic one, is trying a different angle. And I think at this point, it is a facing danger. But she tries it with charm, loyalty, and courage, at this point with +heart. So what she tries to do is to change so she is more trying to calm everybody in the room, just to like de-escalate the situation a bit more. So she maybe takes a step forward from behind of Jebran and is talking or is trying to talk calmly, and says, maybe we should first introduce ourselves. So she tries to create a rapport between everybody. So in a sense of, as soon as you know us, you're maybe less likely to kill us, maybe, because you would feel bad, maybe. So she tries to just make a step forward. So it's a bit like good cop, bad cop. So Jebran is the bad cop. She's the good cop in a sense. So she tries to introduce herself. So she says, "Hey, let's calm down, everybody. Let's introduce ourselves to make a rapport, and then make a parlay." So she tries that. So she is facing danger, but with plus heart. So let's see what if that helps at all. Uh-oh, so I think it goes into a downward spiral from here. So we rolled a miss. A 7 against a 7 and a 9. So I rolled high for my action, but I also rolled high on my challenge dice, which is kind of bad. So I'm face danger here and I missed. So on a miss, you fail or encounter dramatic turn of events. Mark a countdown box and pay the price. So first of all, we mark a countdown. So we didn't make any progress at all, and already have one countdown. One mark box ticked this on countdown, which is really bad. Luckily, we didn't have like 2 now because we did burn the momentum with Jebran. So Katania starts to talk, to say, okay, let's introduce ourselves, and she starts to say her name when the bandit leader just cuts off her what she wants to say, and he just says, and she just like hits the table very, very hard with his fist and says, enough with the small talk. Tell me why you're here. And he's like, he's readying his grip around his sword. So he's pretty much not really happy on what he has heard so far. He's getting impatient very quickly, as it seems. He's very impatient man. He's a very busy man. He has a lot of things to do. So he wants to know now what the hell is going on. So let me see what I could do here. There's another thing I could do. So so maybe it's again Jebran's turn. Katania was like a bit by the sudden outburst of aggression, was just shocked and taken aback a bit. But Jebran, since he was he prepared himself anyway a bit before, he's now trying to talk again and trying to convince the leader for the moment to be less tense. So what he could do, he could, because they know about the attack on Whitewood. They come from there. So he could use. So now here it's a question if it's deception or expertise. So he could say that they're coming from Whitewood, which at that point isn't really a deception. It is truthful because they come from Whitewood. So that would be some sort of expertise. And he could also say that they come from Whitewood and that they got ambushed basically. So hinting a bit that he didn't bring anything back, which is kind of truthful. in the sense of the bandits, they got ambushed by them, of course, but he doesn't need to say that. So it is truthful in a sense, and it is an expertise in that point. So I guess that's what is Jebran doing. He's trying to like saying some truthful stuff in the hopes that this will back off the guy for a moment. So Jebran is going to face danger with expertise. So he rolls plus wits. Okay, yeah, so we're definitely in a downward spiral here. So I rolled an 8, which is really great. I think I rolled even a critical. I like a 6 on my action die. But I also rolled a 3 and a 9 on my challenge die. So that's crap. So it's a weak hit here. So which means I finally marked some progress on the challenge itself, but it's also taking a countdown. So not that great. So Jebran says that. So we're coming from Whitewood, and we got ambushed, and the leader then says, well, so you say. That's Arnis, the guard, has told me as well, and that's what he relayed. That's the message that got relayed from that guy, and Arnis was his name. He said the same thing about you, but that doesn't really convince me. You see, a day ago, another came by here and said the same thing, and he looked more beat up than you at the moment. So I'm tending to believe him more. And he's of course referencing or implying that the guy that fled the scene, that they didn't catch, he made his way back here, and probably made a report that they got attacked on Whitewood as well. So the leader isn't taking that as well. So he has no two conflicting messages. So there was one guy that was pretty beat up, he was probably shaken and looked a bit rougher than Jebran and Katania do. So it's maybe a bit. He's weighing his options. So okay, there's not two people, let's say, that got ambushed. There's like in total 3 people now. So how many people were there that got ambushed? And yeah, that's basically what he's thinking. He's not really convinced still, and he's maybe a bit. He's taking the message as some sort of truth. He could sense that, well, okay, they could maybe come from Whitewood, but I don't think there's more to the message here. There's more to the whole story here. He's not really ready here. But I would say what is really cool here, what Jebran could do, he could show his wound. Because he got stabbed by a bandit, he could show that, and hopefully give this a bit more truth behind it, I guess, what could be said. So I think again he uses expertise or insight and observation, maybe. That's, I mean, it's clicking in his brain. It's not really. It could also be sense a bit of a deception, but again, he could sense, or he could see. Well, I have to convince him that we got ambushed. So, and I still have that wound. So this is probably. I mean, it's maybe giving me some sort of edge to do so. So I would say Jebran just immediately, or well, he clocks that and is trying now with expertise to secure an advantage, to maybe gain that little bit of truth, to like emphasize that little bit of truth behind what he's just said, in order to maybe give him an additional factor that may be helping them in this endeavor. So, as I said, he's trying to secure an advantage with plus wits. Yeah, downward it goes. So I rolled a 3 against a 4 and a 3, so that's a total miss. So again, I mark a progress here, which is really bad. I'm already at 3 progress, and it just didn't make any headway. The leader is just not convinced what I'm saying. I mean, Jebran just shows his wound, and the leader just laughs at it or basks it off and says something. What am I to you? Am I your mother or something? I don't care about your wounds. It just means that you're stupid or not capable at all. And he says, well, I heard, this just doesn't convince me. It could be from anything, that wound. What the other guy that came here one day before said, that there were like 2 to 3 people that attacked them in the night, and from the looks of it, this could just be you. You were the insignia, but you could have just stolen them as well. The wound that you've taken could be just from the bandits itself. It's just not convincing at all what you're saying. And he says he's growing impatient here. You come in here, you just say nothing at all to help your case. You still didn't say why you are here. Just probably just lying completely in his face. He just wants to know just one truth here. He's just not convinced, and he's getting pretty enraged here. He's just he's just completely out of it. He just doesn't believe anything at all. He's just pissed off on what they're saying. They just lied to him for the last, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. So yeah, he's just infuriated completely at this point. So it's just I think Katania at this point sees that, and she recognizes the need to maybe say something truthful here. And I guess I don't know. She's maybe trying to some sort of appeal to his heart, quote unquote, a bit. I guess. I could say I think that Katania just wants to say I guess she tries to talk some truth. I think she goes into here and leans a bit into that. So she says something in the line of, look, we were sent by the villagers of Whitewood. They don't have a lot, and they need to survive as well. Maybe they could make an offer that is beneficial to both of them, for what they need, instead of taking it by force. There might be some diplomatic things that they could maybe trade. So maybe there's something that they could just trade instead of stealing. It would be probably less than they would get, but at least they may even get some sort of like some sort of regular income, so to speak. So she's going more now into the more diplomatic role. She folds a bit to the leader itself, to what he says, and so she's trying to get with charm, loyalty, courage. So she tries to convince him, say, hey, there might be a different solution. Maybe not attack. For whatever reason you need these supplies, there could be maybe an agreement and understanding that is maybe beneficial for both parties, that it doesn't come to more bloodshed, which also some sort of implies that she is that she's telling him, or admitting to him, that they're probably not really bandits or outcasts or whatever. So she's just giving up that piece of information. So let's face danger with Katania with plus heart. Okay, I think it's getting a bit better here. So I rolled a 7 against a 5 and a 3, which is a strong hit, which is definitely something I needed here. So I mark some more progress. I'm now at 4 progress, which isn't that much, but at least it's something. So I face danger, so I'm strong hit, so I mark the progress. And I think the leader is just launching a bit back, maybe loosening a bit his grip on his sword that is still lying on the table in front of them, and says, well, that is the first thing that he heard out of their mouths that he believes. He doesn't clock them as any sort of bandits, not how they behave at all. He suspected as much, but he's still very. I mean, he has his plans. He has his things, and just says, why would they even try to trade with us? We attacked them, we probably killed some of them, so why should we help them at all? Or why should they help us at all? They don't have any let's say why should they trust us? We're bandits. So this is kind of futile what they do. So why come here in the first place? It's like it's a suicide mission at all. They probably got punked by the villagers themselves. So why go to the lion's den with this just flimsy proposal of doing some trade agreement that is just completely whack. So I think Katania again is trying to get a little bit more into this. She still tries to convince him of this. And I think at this point she also tries to convince him with some expertise. So what she knows, of course, that the bandits killed some of the village people. Well, village people, of the villagers. So she could probably say, well, if you see, you're right, they had some losses, that is true, which also hinders them in gathering more material, so or more supplies. So it would be that doesn't really help them. So what you could do is you could if you help them hunt, for example, I don't think they would go into the fields and try to and help them on harvesting the fields, but I guess, I mean, you probably have some competent hunters or competent archers in your group. Send them to the village in order to help them, and in reward they get supplies from them. So it's beneficial for both of them. They do what they do best. They do kill around, and you get your supplies. So she does that with expertise because she knows that there are not enough hunters, and she could probably guess, and from her observation already, we did go through the camp, she saw that there are some Fletchers around there, so there's certainly some people that are capable with bow and arrow. So seems to be a reasonable assumption that it could be a fair trade to say, hey, look, give us some manpower that they need, and you get some supplies out of it. So yeah, let's do this with expertise. So she's again just here now, completely full diplomatic mode. So she is facing danger again with expertise. So plus wits. Yeah. So the leader is probably not really convinced out of that. So I rolled a 3 against a 4 and a 5. So I rolled really low here. Yeah, so that means that there's another countdown here, and that just completely concludes the scene challenge here. So the leader is just completely not convinced. You could just say, well, we could just hunt ourselves if we so please, but why? Yeah, I mean, just completely futile. We just could just go grab the supplies that we want with the archers as well, or just hunt themselves, which they already do. So there's no real benefit, and he just isn't convinced that just by helping them they would just it's just not in his nature. And he grabs his sword again and says, well, I've heard enough. It was very unwise for you to come into the lion's den. It's not going. Yeah, this just was completely futile. So with that, the scene challenge has ended. So I now do a progress move, and basically resolving the scene challenge as all. So I try to conclude here, which is kind of futile because I only have like 4 progress marked. So let's see what what happens. Well, at least the challenge didn't go that bad. So even though I only have a progress of 4, I rolled a 3 and a 7, so at least it is a weak hit. So that means that I succeed of some sort, but not without cost. So I have to pay the price. So basically, I guess what the leader says here. Yeah, he's not convinced. But thanks to them, he now knows that the village probably isn't 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 safe at the moment. So he says, well, what you say when you say what is true, that they just lost some guys and you were the only ones that basically protected them and just brought back the advanced scouts. Well then, what the heck? I will just send some more men, and now that it is probably defenseless, well, here we go. Thanks to your information. And he's like shouting out to the guard that is still standing in front of this little hut here, or this little building here, just whispering something in his ears, and he goes off and says, well, for the moment, you will be our guests. And he's just says that in like air quotes, just implying that for the moment they're imprisoned here, and there's 2-3 other guards coming as well, into the little building, probably sent by the other. You will stay here for a few days, until the raiding party I just sent out is coming back from White Wolf. Then you go back from wherever you came from and see how your actions have consequences. We will burn the whole village down and kill everybody within it, for your indiscretion, to make a statement to the world to not mess with us. And with that, I would say, with that dire note, we will end this session here, and see how this will inflict or incur in their further adventures in the Iron World, or in these Iron Lands. So until next time, let's hear you again.